positives, not a lot, but the most important thing was that they stayed together. They didn't turn on each other. They stayed together. They stayed the course. And the final 2 minutes when they really locked in, I felt like they were very connected and ready to go.
Questions?
Coach, is that girl next to you really a freshman?
Yes.
I mean, did she surprise you at this point with some of the stuff? Like, this is her first official game, and yet here I see her with step back threes, blocking shots in transition, which probably you're the most proud of. Just how well do you think Delaney played tonight?
I mean, she was phenomenal, but I see it every day in practice, so I kind of expect it from her. I think she gives us a huge lift, and I don't feel like people really knew who she was until they can actually see her play. But everybody, talks about who we're replacing, what we're doing, and I knew she was just going to step up and just step right into those shoes.
How big was Kimmer's three? It looked like it was about 25, 30. It was out there. It was a deep one.
It was huge. It was huge, and I just love that she stepped up and knocked it down.
Sorry, I was late getting out. You probably appreciated some of the defensive plays late by Burnley and by the league.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the last 2 minutes when they locked in, and those are two freshmen that are out there making those plays, and I love that.
How beneficial is it to have Kimmery's experience out there on the floor when the late game situation, how did that show up late in this game?
Yeah, she's always my calm within the storm, and she doesn't get too high or too low. She just kind of stays even keel, and that's a huge thing for us. And then she had to play a lot of minutes tonight, and I mean, don't love that, but with foul trouble, I like to rotate them, have them fresh. But I mean, she stepped up and did her job.
How were you able to manage that? With the fouls for being called tonight? You said at halftime you had a couple of girls with two that
Six girls with 2 fouls. When you can rotate people and you always have something fresh, right? And it's always fresh legs that are going. And so I feel like when I have all those girls sitting there, and then some of them, I told them I feel like they started thinking about themselves and their fouls, and it kind of took them out of the rhythm of the game instead of just staying with it. And so we'll learn.
Dee, what was working for you so well tonight?
Honestly, I think what helped me out was my defense. When Amari was off, I had to pick up ball, and that always gives me a lot of energy. So that worked well, and then also I think just attacking into the paint hard and drawing fouls. It's always nice to get to the free throw line and be able to knock down some free shots.
Were there any nerves tonight coming into your first college game at this level?
I mean, definitely some jitters, but I feel like our teams worked hard up to this point, and so I know that my coaches had my back and my teammates had my back, and so I was just really out there doing what I know how to do.
Can you walk me through that block that you had in transition? You probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The steal looked like a pretty easy bucket for Idaho, but you just went full Dikembe, I guess, and said not today.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of, she was a few steps ahead of me, but I knew that I had length on her, and so I knew that that was too easy a bucket for her in the time and score of the game, and so I just had to go for it.
Coach, what do you attribute some of the struggles offensively in the second half? What did you see out there that was maybe causing some of the issues?
I feel like when you get in foul trouble and the rhythm kind of gets knocked off, right, and then you're thinking a lot about it, and you don't make one shot, and then it turns into 2, and then you take that back on defense, and then it compounds. And so we're working hard with them, short-term memory, just forget it and move on, right? But I mean, they did a really good job of icing us, and we haven't went against it as much as we need to, obviously, and so we need to get better at that. And then when we are getting downhill, we need to keep the contact in order to get to the rim and get our fouls called too.
Talk about Burnley, what she added just those last couple of minutes. I think she comes up with 2 or 3 big-time rebounds, boxing out, playing hard defense. She preached at it every single day.
Her length provides a lot of mismatches inside it. I love it. And so that's one thing that I know that she'll bring constantly. And she didn't have one tonight, I don't think, but her up and unders when she gets in the lane, her footwork is just really, really nice too. And so her ceiling's very, very high.
Amber, I'm sure you would love to keep that 16-point lead, but is there a silver lining to be able to see what your kids can do under pressure?
Yeah, honestly, the fact that they stayed together, and when you go in timeouts and they're not pointing fingers at each other, they're come on, we can do this, and staying together. That's what I like, and I like to see. Definitely a learning game, knowing that you can hold off and stay the course for sure. But I mean, the fact that they didn't panic, they didn't lose it, they just locked in at the end of the game just to take it home.
What did Mariah provide in the beginning? I think she hits 2 3-pointers right away, grabbing 5 rebounds, a steal, I think, a block.
And she had a really good pass inside. She did some good things too. And there again, I mean, her fouls in that third one, it kind of took her out of the rhythm because she had to sit so much. You know what I mean? So that part sucks, but it's part of the game.
What do you tell them to avoid getting in foul trouble like that? I mean, we want to play aggressively. And
We
the
want to
game's
be
officially
aggressive,
different.
but I'm always telling them to play clean, show your hands. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't. When they chuck kids into screens, can't do that. I mean, Brindley did it right in front of our bench. Like, I mean, that part can't happen. So, but we work on it daily. I mean, but I would rather have them like me as a coach. I'd rather have to pull back the reins than like nudge them to be more aggressive. So.